So I think this one's going to be even more heated than the last one. And this is not going to be fun to talk about because this is extremely disgusting and horrific and sad and barbaric and ignorant. And there's so much about this that is terrible. But circumcision came up this week. A 2-week-old boy died after he had a circumcision, and the particular circumcision that he had was an ultra-Jewish Orthodox, very conservative, very old school kind of circumcision, where after his foreskin was removed, I believe it's called a moil, removed the blood from this 2-week-old boy's penis by sucking it off. And then, I don't know, he spits the blood out, he swallows it, I don't know. I'm not claiming that this moil sexually assaulted the boy. I'm not saying that that was the case. I'm just pointing out that's the facts of what happened, what this traditional procedure is.
You clean the wound by sucking it off.
By sucking the blood off of the penis that you've just removed the foreskin off of. And what happened was the boy contracted herpes from the moil, and it killed him because he was 2 weeks old. I think this totally goes back to what we were just talking about with sex education, and this is people having to apologize for being human. Yeah. Men are born with foreskins, and that's bad. God doesn't like it. Cut it off, and if some of your children die, well, at least they didn't have a foreskin, because that really upsets God. And
Jesus, that's an interesting one.
You know, I know that when we look back, there can be arguments made for the reason that men were circumcised.
Yeah.
In the Bronze Age and things like that was, you know, it was a cleanliness issue. They're in the desert, and possible infections.
Water scarce.
Water is scarce. Grit, sand, getting into the foreskin. I get that. I understand that. But when we look at it now, and we're living in the society that we live now, and and there's also all these.
I'm sorry. I'm on call.
Oh dear.
Pause, sorry. Okay, sorry for that interruption. Keep going about the circumcision.
It strikes me that in the society we have now, this cleanliness thing is not an issue so much.
That's the biggest thing. Like, if you're going to argue that there's a medical need or that there's even a traditional need for circumcision, just do it in a sterile environment, done by a doctor, cleaned appropriately. Like, what is it with the desire to maintain the ritual?
Well, because the ritual is what makes the imaginary friend happy.
Right. Then you're just being insane, though, because apparently the imaginary friend is happy to kill your son.
Yeah. Well, when has he not been happy with killing? Well,
exactly, but that's that. I mean, that was the biggest thing about
Jewish tradition starts off with God telling Abraham to go up a mountain and kill his son.
And then just kidding. That was the thing when you sent me this article and I read through this article. The thing that bothered me the most was that as the investigation is trying to find who this moil was. Actually, this moil, I believe that they found him or this rabbi, if you want to call it that. That they already found him, and he's actually been removed from a list of people who can do this because
because it's not anything he did on purpose.
Right, of course not. He's not. Yeah, he's not bad for being himself. It's just, but the tradition itself is bad, and for maintaining that. But the leader of this ultra orthodox group specifically stated that they will not change.
Right.
That's the one thing they will not do.
Right.
They will not buckle, and it's irregardless, even if there's laws in place, they even mentioned that they're like, well, please don't make laws against it because then we'll just take it underground.
Right.
And it's that's it. It goes back to what I always argue about the rights of freedom. Okay, you're allowed to do whatever you want as long as it doesn't impinge on other people's freedom. And by them having this rule, they're taking the life of this boy. because of what they believe is true. The boy is only 2 weeks old. He don't give a shit.
He can't make a decision.
Yeah, he can't decide that he's like, oh yeah, this ultra-Orthodox way is the way to go. You know, and his freedom is being infringed upon, and that's messed up. It's just and just because you want to be unchanging.
Right.
I mean, then you're just an idiot. That's as simple as I can put it. If you're not willing to be flexible about anything, then you live in a different reality. You shouldn't be.
But I mean, it's I think fair to say that they sort of do live in a different reality because, in a sense, because as far as they're concerned, they are trying to be. I can actually respect it in a way because, they're saying, you know, no, God laid this down.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it, and we won't change it for anything because the infallible, all-powerful, all-knowing, benevolent creator of the universe said, this is how you do it, this is how you live your life. So in a way, I have to respect their decision to say, even if you make laws against it, we are going to continue to do this because, you know, how transparent is it when the Mormon Church buckles on polygamy and buckles on blacks having the priesthood? You know, like that's how religions survive. I mean, Christianity has survived because it adapts so well, but it doesn't, I think, really give them the high ground of like this is true because they change it so readily for, you know, petty moral concerns.
Well, and again, though, I'm with you. I agree. Like I almost respect the FLDS that continue to practice polygamy more because of the fact that they're continuing to practice their traditions that they believe are true. But but the problem is, I will allow you to follow every tradition that you want. I have no desire to control your life, but you can't infringe that upon others. You can't take freedoms from other people
and this 2-week-old
in order
boy,
to enforce your religion.
Right, and this 2-week-old boy can't make a decision, and he's having it forced upon him, and now he's dead. So, you know, I just I can respect them sticking to the guns of their tradition. If you actually thought that God laid this down and this is what you had to do, I can respect you sticking to the guns of that tradition. However, I don't respect the insanity of your delusion.
Well, and I'd like to see where in their Torah or their Talmud or anything like that that very specifically details that the only way to do this ritual is by doing it this way. And that
would it really matter, though?
I mean, well, it's the same thing as like, why can't they at least look at it and be like, well, that's how we used to do it when we had different technologies. I mean, should they still do it with like a rusty bronze knife as opposed? I mean, should they use a flint dagger?
Maybe
like,
they should. I don't know.
It's
yeah, it becomes where you draw the line, and
why anyone ever thought the mouth was the better way to clean something off as opposed to water.
Because they didn't know that the mouth is full of bacteria.
God, they certainly should. They didn't brush their teeth much back then. I can't imagine that was very.
And the reason they didn't brush their teeth is because they didn't know.
And
that's the point.
All logic leaves the argument.
It's all this. It's this refusal of knowledge and learning and education, and to say no. What was good 3,000 years ago is still good now. We can do it with the mouth, despite the fact that you have to brush your teeth multiple times a day, or your teeth rot out of your head because your mouth is such a dirty place. It's ludicrous to say that these things are better than what we know now, what we can prove, what is demonstrable. It's just
it just, I can't believe. And plus anything that gives you the fact. I mean, there's actually an image attached to this article with people around this rabbi, and he's got his mouth right on a little boy's penis after cutting it, and it's like, where else other than religion would you find that acceptable, that you could have people just not be shocked by what he's doing? What other possible reason
I have no
could
answer.
you have to, other than pedophilia, to have your mouth on a little boy's penis? There's no acceptable reason.
Right. There's not. And
only religion gives you that bridge
ability,
at which you can cross that chasm. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And only religion pretty much allows you to defend thousands of year old traditions that we know are like. There's no way that you can say this is a clean, sterile thing that is healthy for the boy.
They do it at home, or they do it in a synagogue. I mean, they don't do it in a sterile environment or anything like that.
It is insane.
It's
to
just as
think,
likely he could have gotten an infection as opposed to
I know,
the herpes.
and it's insane to think that in the United States, in any industrialized, developed country in the year 2012, this would happen.
Plus, P.S. Where did the rabbi get the herpes?
It doesn't really matter.
But still, I mean,
it doesn't really matter. You know, and I actually heard something about one of the random facts I had read. Probably on WebMD or something like that. They think a lot of medical institutions think that actually a lot of people, possibly a majority of people, have herpes. It's just that most of us are asymptomatic.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. My point is that it doesn't matter where he got the herpes. It's just that because, like you said, the kid could have gotten an infection anyways, and not specifically herpes. It's just a bad practice that we don't need to be doing, and I'll tell you what, if an 18-year-old wants to have his bris done in this fashion, go do it. Have at it.
Oh, God.
Have at it.
Oh,
when they are old enough
disturbing.
to make the decision, wrap your lips around it and suck the blood off. I don't care.
Yeah, but that surgery hurts a lot more at 18.
I don't care. I don't care. When you're old enough to make a decision, have at it.
I still don't understand why you wouldn't want like a trained professional doing that around your son's penis. Anyway.
Because it's what God wants.
Yep. Okay. Love your God. Have fun with that.